block everything else out, and try as you might, they're not going to come out of the shell. I mean, you can get in there and tell them to come out, but they won't come out. What's that look like in a relationship? Well, it may look like this, where the person just leaves the room, doesn't say when or if they're coming back, but just kind of walking away. They may eventually come back, but they don't give any indication as to when.
And then there's the skunk. The skunk is that sprayer of, usually it's a verbal attack, that when they are feeling stress, they'll turn and spray. And it may sound something like, I cannot believe you didn't get the trash out again this week. I mean, how difficult is it? It goes the same time every week. It shouldn't be that difficult to make sure
I
it
have
gets
to say,
out there.
I've heard that a number of times.
But that's the skunk. And then there's the chameleon. Now, the chameleon, they tend to blend into their surroundings. They don't want to rock the boat. Now, they may say, it's a little different than the turtle, because they're going to say, well, I really would rather, but we'll do it your way. And, that may work very well at the beginning of a relationship, but the problem with the chameleon is that, after years of always giving in, at some point they kind of get tired of that and say, okay, I'm always the one to give in. And you're not really building strength in the relationship. You're simply one's getting their way and the other one is making all the sacrifices.
The next one is the owl. This is the intellectualizer, and owls hate emotions, all right? They're like Dr. Spock, all right? They really want to just be devoid of the emotional stuff, and the kinds of questions that owls ask are who, what, why, where, when. And they kind of take a detached posture by sitting up over here on this branch and leaving the other person kind of down here to deal with things on their own. So if they're having an emotional moment, they just kind of want to get away from that as much as possible. They're very good at problem solutions. And so, if there's a problem that comes up, well, here's how we solve this. So they're very good at problem solving. And then we also have the gorilla. The gorilla is kind of warm and friendly when they're not under stress. But once they get under stress, they can become an intimidator. They will get in your face and you literally feel for your life. You feel unsafe. You wonder, are they going to do something? And so whether it's physical or emotional, there's that gorilla, that intimidation factor that can come out.
And then there's the mule. Okay, I think mules are known for being a little stubborn.
There's another word for mule, but we won't say that word.
Sometimes a little passive-aggressive. But the thing about the mule is, at some point, it doesn't become about the issue as much as it does, I want to be right, or the more you try to convince me of your position, the more resistant I will become. Not because I don't agree with you, just because I don't want to be told what to do, or I don't want to give in to your pressuring. And the thing is, sometimes when we live with a mule, we think if we only up our game, if we only persuade a little more, and it's really pretty counterproductive with the mule.
So we like to see if you can recognize any of these animals in this next little interaction that we're going to have with each other. Ron and I worked together at Marriage Resource Center in this one particular day. I was working on some television commercials. I was adding sound effects and having a fun time. And I think it was probably a little distracting to Rhonda. She was in the next office, and she was working on grants, and there were just some things that were frustrating to her. She wasn't getting all the information. And so driving home was fine. We have about a 15-minute drive home. We chatted about a few things, nothing particularly bad going on there. But once we get home, I was hungry, and so I decided to make myself a sandwich. Now, we don't do role plays, hypotheticals. Everything that you see us kind of talking about here actually happened. All right, so I'm at home making a sandwich.
They are replays, not role plays.
Making a sandwich.
Boy, I am really feeling kind of stressed. I'm having some challenges getting... Are you even listening to me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Well, it doesn't seem like it. You're so focused on that sandwich. Sometimes I think you have no idea what it is that I do.
Well, I
I
absolutely
mean, I
know
hear
what
you
you're
in
doing.
the next room. I mean, there's laughing going on and carrying on, which was
Well,
very
I
distracting,
was
by the
editing
way.
this television commercial. I mean, that's what I was doing.
But
I mean,
sometimes
that's,
I just think you're clueless. You have no idea what it is that I have to go through
I do know.
on
I
a
know you were
day-to-day
frustrated.
basis.
Well, where did all this emotion come from? I mean, you went
Well,
from
you're
0
not
to
even
60 in like
because
just
you're
a
not
little-
listening. You're focused on that sandwich, and you're just totally
I
you
am
know out in.
listening. I mean, Rhonda, look, we've got tools that we can
Now
use.
you're
I
being
mean,
patronizing. I hate it when you're patronizing.
I'm not patronizing.
Yes,
We
you
teach
are.
Rinks class,
You are
and I
being
mean,
patronizing.
look, I mean, what moral authority do we have to teach other couples when we're not going to
Well,
do
you're
it
just
here?
trying to totally remove yourself from the what
I'm trying to help us. I'm trying
Well,
to
it's
help
not
us.
helping. I can tell you that right now. It's not helping.
Okay, so what animals did you see? Someone said owl. Okay, who's the owl? Okay, I'm the owl, and why do you indicate that I'm the owl? What's going on with the owl? Yeah, I am being a little patronizing. I didn't like that, but I'm trying to kind of bring some rationality and some sanity into what feels like is spiraling out of control. All right, so I'm the owl. What animal would you see Rhonda going to? Skunk. And why the skunk? I mean, what gives you the impression that she's the skunk?
She's just kind of
Spraying, yeah.
She's saying it's kind of coming out all at once.
All at once.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And I'm trying to protect myself and trying to get some rationality injected here. How effective do you think we were? How connected do you think we were at this point? Yeah, we're just kind of disconnecting and pushing each other away. What do you think might have been more helpful? What could I have done that would have been more helpful for Rhonda, aside from making a sandwich? Listening to her? Give eye contact? Sure.
Well, here's the thing. You know, when we were driving home from work, I wasn't particularly upset with him. I was feeling some stress. And, you know, what I was looking for was an emotional response, okay? So when I didn't get it, what did I do? I started pushing his buttons. And, you know, after 30 years, I know exactly which buttons to push to get the response.
There are about 3 buttons that Rhonda can push. Usually she starts with the third one. And if that doesn't get a response, goes to number 2. And if that doesn't get a response, she goes to the top one. And you know what the top one is? You don't care. Because that's like fingernails on a chalkboard for me. Because I kind of pride myself. I want to care. I'm a caring person. And I don't like that label of you don't care. But she just goes ahead and pushes that button. And when she does, usually I may turn into a gorilla at that point. I start, that really, really upsets me. I'm no longer an owl. And so really what might have been more helpful for me to say, is there anything that I can do?
Yeah, and that would have had a totally different feel. And for me, knowing what it is or trying to identify what it is I'm looking for, I could definitely do a little better job of asking to say, feeling a lot of stress, after you have a chance to get a bite to eat, do you have time just to listen? I don't want you to fix it, but I just feel like I need to vent a little bit.
And that would have been helpful. So you can see how that could have been redirected from both of us, could have gone much better. So let's kind of see what kind of animals you recognize in your own interactions with each other when you're under stress or conflict. And on page 18, what we'd like for you to do is individually complete those statements first and then share with your partner what your responses are. We'll give you about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and see what you learned about that.